All right. It is 10:01 a.m. It is 2019. Happy New Year to everybody. We're in our third month of our fiscal year 2019. Today we got some visitors, and today we will have an executive session. We try to have 12 monthly meetings according to our Constitution. Sometimes we do have special meetings. Hello, Judge. It's good to see the judges here. It's good to see Amber and Enrollment here. It's good to see Adrian. I'd like to recognize somebody in this audience. Miss Salpity, could you please stand? This is Miss Salpity from the Apache Boone School District, a parent, a concerned parent. This parent and other parents in Apache Boone, they ignited a little small fire that grew into a good bonfire of concern for our children. And Ms. Salpity, today we're going to take care of business. Okay? All right. Thank you. I'd like to have our Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Tipicani, could you please do a roll call for us, sir?
William Nelson.
Here.
Susan Cochran.
Here.
Robert Tipicani. Here. Jonathan Paulway. Eddie Odyssey.
Here.
Ronald Red Elk.
Here.
Clyde Narkamy. Here. Have a quorum.
All right. And today, I'd like to call upon Ms. Catherine Parker, our Higher Education Director. Catherine, could you render up a prayer this morning?
Certainly can.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm honored. Thank you. Father, we just come to you today, Lord, and we just thank you, Lord, for this group of people that are meeting on behalf of your business and our business as well, Lord. And we just thank you, Lord, that we have this opportunity and unity to come together and, Father, and represent you. Father, we just bless everybody here, Lord. We bless the people, Lord, that aren't here. Father, we just speak blessing over our tribe. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, if it's appropriate right now, I'd like to amend the agenda.
Sure.
I'd like to move resolutions. The last resolution, under resolutions 1319, CBC carryover funds. I'd like to move that to executive session.
Will that be your motion, sir?
Yes, that's my motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Ms. Susan Cochran. All those in favor to move resolution number 1319 to executive and to IT. When we come out of executive, if you guys can put us back on the air for regular session, that'd be good. All those in favor of doing such a thing, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay.
In addition, I'd like to say I'd like to take a moment to make a recognition at a certain point of time.
Sure. You want to do that now?
I'd like to wait a moment until Mr. Polway gets here.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Do you need a motion on that?
No.
Okay.
I just ask you for the time at that moment.
Well, I'll second that emotion.
Okay.
All right. Everybody, we're going to go over the minutes of what we decided on business on December 1st, 2018. If you please can review. That snow out there is pretty, really pretty. In our executive session, is Jared Ellis here? Okay. Dennis Wemavoya? Okay. We were going to have the City Council of Davidson, Oklahoma here, but we're going to move them to probably Red River. Also, Mr. Can never think of your name, sir. Mr. Rao. We're going to put you in a short session, an executive session, okay? And that'll be after our regular business. Can you hear me, sir? Okay, thank you. Well, next weekend, next Saturday, December 12th, we are going to have the runoff election. Took a long time, but it's here. So everybody worldwide living here in Comanche County, please go vote. January 12th, yes, a week from today. It's supposed to be good weather, so that's good. How many went and seen Auntie Beatrice? Raise your hand. You know, she did give me a call. She kind of said, Chairman, I might tease you a little bit. Boy, she got me good. Man, funny lady. But anyway, she was saying, is there any way we can disenroll Johnny Depp and enroll Auntie Beatrice? I was like, yeah, we waited till about 12 o'clock, right, Nico? It was kind of late, but it was funny. Today, Adrian, looking over the minutes from last month, all the school projects we're going to be doing, are we going to confirmation on this today, or?
These are just added some more schools to it.
Okay, all right. Okay, I didn't see it for what it was worth, sorry. But okay, sounds good. We have a Constitution Day this month. It's on January 21st. At one time, everybody used to try to get involved and come up here and talk about the Constitution. I think it'd be a good idea if people that want, I don't know, more voice to the Constitution, or it'd be great just for review, maybe a discussion. I'll come up here. This room will be open. If someone wants to come up here and talk with me, that'd be great. It's not just going to be a meeting for action, but just a meeting to talk about our Constitution. Indian Health Service, talked to Mr. Travis Watts, who runs Oklahoma City. The essential services will not be disturbed by the government shutdown, but the staff up there in Oklahoma City, we've got some issues there. They're on furlough. The other issue we have is at Southern Plains. You know, we have the Office of Special Trustee. Ever since the Cobell class action suit, the Office of Special Trustee is supposed to take care of finances, which are held over there in the area in Albuquerque. Well, they're all on furlough. So, you know, if it comes to lease checks, if it comes to any other thing, as far as realty, Dennis, who's all up there in realty right now? Last I heard, it was only Rose holding the fort down. Is that true?
I don't know. Everybody that calls me says they've been calling up there and nobody answers the phone.
Okay, yeah.
So I just assumed that their office was closed. I didn't know Rose was even there. It's closed.
Right. Well, I can't believe a fence is going to shut down our government. That's stupid. I call it a fence because, hey, I don't care what kind of wall you have. Even China built a great wall, couldn't keep nobody out. That's just my opinion. But anyway.
Mr. Chairman, I know in the minutes
Yes,
there
sir.
are a number of unidentified speakers.
Yes.
I feel it'd be smart if they speak, if you would ask them to give their name,
Okay.
so they
Could
can
you,
be recorded.
Could you give me a point of order on that, Ms. Stenographer? Okay. I'll generally forget, Mr. Tippecanoe,
Yeah.
but you are correct. All right. I believe we did not table one thing last meeting. I do hope people will stick around after executive session. I believe we're going to have some really great news. Great news.
I'd like to make a motion to accept last month's minutes.
Okay, our vice chair has made a motion to accept the minutes. I need a second.
I'll second it.
All right, seconded by Mr. Narcommi. All those in favor to accept the minutes from our December 1st meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Also, cinnamon rolls. Who brought these here? Everybody that's hungry, please come get some cinnamon rolls. Just open them up here and have at it. There's coffee over there because I'm a little too sweet and I don't want to take a shot. So here we go. We're going to go right to resolution number 0119. I'm going to look straight at our enrollment director. Everything been followed to the actual Constitution. All right, well, let's go to it. 0119. The list includes the names of applicants who have been verified as eligible pursuant to Article 3, Section 1C, membership of the Constitution of the Comanche Nation, which states all descendants of allottees eligible for membership under this provision of Section 1A of the article having an 8th or more degree of Indian blood. And now therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee accept the verification of eligibility for the applicants as shown on list 1112 by the Comanche Nation Enrollment Office. And be it further resolved that the Comanche Nation Enrollment Office notify the eligible applicant by letter of their approved membership, and further that the enrolled member be provided information concerning their enrollment, including name, date of birth, roll number, social security number, and degree of Comanche blood. Business Committee, due diligence on this many. Clyde, do we have a number?
Yes, sir, there's 25.
25
Oh.
new members. Okay.
And there's 16, 1/8
16,
out of that
1/8.
25.
We have Arizona, Washington, South Dakota, Texas, Washington, Arizona, New Mexico, Virginia, California, and of course, Oklahoma. Business Committee, I bring forward resolution number 0119. I do need a motion to continue.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I got a couple of questions on this enrollment.
Sure.
Amber, on that second page, you have two people here out of California. One was born in January 1995. That would make him 23. Then I guess it's his brother right below him. He was born 1989. Could you explain why they're on there? Is this their first? It was on another tribe. It don't have no explanation.
No, they haven't, excuse me, they haven't been enrolled anywhere else. I haven't talked to both of them. I did talk to one of the brothers. What their situation is just that their family had moved off and they didn't know that the tribe had lowered the quantum and they didn't know they were eligible all this time. So, so they just finally put in an application for membership, but they haven't been enrolled anywhere else.
So Amber, I have a question after that. How do you know for sure? I mean, how do you double check? I mean, if they're in California, how do you know that they haven't enrolled in some other tribe there? There's a lot of tribes in California.
There are a lot of tribes in California. Basically, the application has several different questions asking if they possess blood of any other tribe, if they have been enrolled in other tribes. There's different questions on there.
Right.
And then with the family tree, if there's any tribe listed at all on their family tree, we double check everything. We send a verification to every tribe listed, whatever they list on the front, whatever's listed on their family tree. And then we also pull their family files when we do the actual process. Excuse me. Even if the family member lists any tribe on their file and they don't have it on theirs, we send it to whatever's in the family's file as well. So basically, you know, if there's any tribe listed, we do send a letter of verification to double check to make sure they don't have an application on file or been enrolled anywhere else.
Question, if it's found out later on, I want them to be sure and hear me, if it's found out later on that someone's on the roll and they shouldn't have been or whatever for years, do we have anything in place? If we do, I'm not aware of it.
Normally,
Like, what if they've been on the roll for 8 years and then it's brought to our attention or whatever that they should have never been on our roll initially? What do we do?
I have come across some from way back in the day that have had various different issues. And I normally bring it to Mr. Arbery the same day that I find it, and we'll discuss it, and then normally he'll make, he basically tells me to bring it to you guys to determine what to do next. The few that I can think of off the top of my head I've brought to you guys, and they've been removed based off of the evidence that we found. One was a blood quantum issue, another we found that they had switched to us, but they never fully went through the whole process of removing themselves at the other tribe. And so those, if they fell at the right time, the 18 to 19 time frame, the little window that we allow them to switch, if it fell during that time frame, I basically give them about 30 days to fix it. If they don't fix it, then I go ahead and remove them. I haven't had one that's had to go that far, but normally, you know, I make them aware of the situation. Hey, you know, you didn't complete your relinquishment, you have so many days. I remember too that I've had to do that, and I did fix, you know, I fixed them and they were squared away. There was a couple that were blood quantum issues from back when the Bureau did them, and I took them off. It's just one of those things that we come across it. We don't deal with the files daily, so it's hard to know when there's an issue. A lot of the issues that we find are during the process of a new app, because we pull the family file and we double check everything in the family file, so sometimes we do come across things. But unless somebody calls us and says, hey, I heard there's an issue, can you check into this? We don't always know. So, but that's how I've found a lot of them, is just by researching on the new app. So there
are we
some,
any closer to doing an enrollment audit? That's been brought up numerous times.
Yeah, we're still waiting on them to basically tell us how far back. The companies are wanting to know how far back the tribe wants to go. And if we're wanting to break it up. They said if we don't want, because of the price, they said they can do the full price. One of them I think was like $900,000. They could do the full price and start the whole thing, and it'll drag on over numerous years. But they said if the financial side is an issue, they can break it up in waves, I guess. And so they'll do so many for one fiscal year, come through, do another for the next fiscal year. So they've given us several options. They're just basically waiting on a green light. They want to know how far
and that's
back
up to
the
us to
tracks.
make a decision and give you the go on that.
Well, with that, we've got resolution number 0119. I'm seeing another anomaly here, 1959. Now, this is critical, sensitive, almost HIPAA issues. It involves the enrollment for the rest of their lives. It involves many things. You know, we make sure that people that want to have an education can get an education. People fall short on their bills, we can do that. Prescription assistance, they can do that. Even if they want to ride from Cash and back from Herbs, you know, we do that. We do a lot of things. So it's not only a financial, it's a family, it's very confidential. And guess what our duty is, Amber? We swore an oath, our duty is to handle enrollment. To change enrollment is the tribal council. Okay? I see 3 anomalies here. I believe we need to come together on this list, because this is the first time I've seen that many dated that far apart. The rest are pretty easy to figure out. 2017, 2018, they were just born. You know, they were just born. We find ourselves in many jackpots with enrollment. You know, in 2002, they had an open enrollment. Nobody shut off the date. We find out that some parents that throw their kids that aren't Comanche in there in the loop, and it's based off ethics. It's really based off, are you a forger? Are you full of perjury? And that's where everybody voted for to have an enrollment audit. Now we're tasked with the dollar amount. And we're also tasked with, when that was presented at our annual meeting, a time. I specified to the gentleman that provided this resolution to our annual meeting when to start. And I never could get a justifiable answer, so what we got is a moot point. We got a pass resolution, and it's as good as gold. And it passed on the actual referendum vote. So it's passed. It's a done deal. We just got to make sure we can bring the money. And what dates? We can't leave it open-ended. And we can't be so mean as a lot of California tribes just on the sake of money that they just disenroll people for the heck of it. This is very sensitive. We are distinctly different. We are a government within a government. And this government, if I could have somebody to go on ahead and make a motion to table this, to go over this and review this, it's not going to do no harm. It will do no harm, Amber. Our job, our duty, ma'am, our duty is this. You are paid. You are a constitutional program. Your staff is part of a constitutional edict, a law. Our head judge is here. The law of our enrollment has to be perfect. And on these, I consider it anomalies that need to be talked through and showing the proof of burden.
I brought it up, I don't think it was this council, maybe the council before. I made a suggestion because when we go to training, a lot of the other tribes do this. They have an enrollment council. So basically the staff does all of the work, and then there's a council of maybe 3 that reviews the work that we did so that it's not just on us.
I don't want to cut you off or anything, but our Constitution is quite clear. I believe it's duty number 4. Our duty is to make sure enrollment is followed. So with that said, could I have someone entertain a motion to table resolution number 0119?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made, seconded by whom?
Narcomic.
Mr. Clyde. All those in favor to table resolution number 0119 for review, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, we have a determination here of ineligibles, and we got one. And this is resolution number 0219. And it says here, the documentary evidence on file with Enrollment Office and information furnished by each applicant named on list number 1113 does not descend from a Comanche allotee. Be it further resolved that each applicant on list number 1113 be officially notified of their rejection for membership, stating the reason for such determination and including the appropriate appeals provision. Business Committee, we have one. And this person, it is stated reason for rejection, there is no allotee on record. I do need a motion to accept resolution number 0219.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Narcomi. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by our Vice Chair. All those in favor for resolution number 0219, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. And the offer is open for anybody that wants a sticky bun here. They're right here, guys. Don't be ashamed. It's right there. There's 6 over there. Eddie's got 6 over there. Have at it.
Leave mine alone.
Okay, leave Red Oaks alone. We're going to go to resolution number 0319. And what this is Adrian Tejano and the transportation program. Looks like they've got more to the long-range plan. And could I have you please explain this to us, if you could, Adrian?
We're in the process now of adding some schools to the inventories so we can make some improvements around the schools. This is not only going to help our tribal students, but the whole communities in general. I think safety is one of the issues for our children. Some of these streets and parking lots around these schools are really in bad shape. You walk through there, you can fall, break a leg. twist an ankle in some of them holes. And that's our goal, is to try and help these schools and make these things, place the schools safer for students.
Okay. All right, I'm looking here, we've got Geronimo. We've got Chattanooga. We got Chatty. Starling, wait a minute, Starling.
You got it.
We got Starling and Surreal and Apache. Well, that's really good stuff. And, yeah, Surreal and Apache, Caddo County. Okay, I'll go forward on resolution number 0319. The tradition of sovereignty of the Comanche Nation since time immemorial long predates the existence of the nation, establishes the inherent sovereign powers and rights of the Comanche self-government. The Comanche Constitution, Article 6, Section 7, established the CBC as a duly elected official body designated to conduct business for and on behalf of all the nation. Whereas the Comanche Nation DOT, Department of Transportation, desires to update the long-range plan by adding the following routes to the Department of Transportation Roads Inventory List. It will be called Route Number 7504, which will be Geronimo. Route Number 7505, Geronimo Elementary Public School. Route Number 7506, Chattanooga Public School. Route Number 7508, Starling Public School. Route Number 7024, Surreal, Caddo County, Oklahoma. Route Number 7155, Apache, Caddo County, Oklahoma. We're going to add these routes to the TIP, the Transportation Improvement Plan. Business Committee, therefore be it resolved that the CBC hereby approves for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Branch of Transportation, and Southern Plains Regional Office to add the above routes to the nation's Department of Transportation Roads Inventory List. I have before you resolution number 0319. I need a motion to continue on this.
I make a motion to accept resolution 03-19.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I need a second to continue.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, seconded by CBC Narcomi. All those in favor on this Transportation Roads Inventory List, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. All
Mr.
right.
Chairman, I've got a couple of questions to ask Mr. Tejano.
Sure.
Adrian, last month, we inquired about Mr. Pokawachi and Debbie Hendricks Road by Ellsworth.
Yes, sir.
Did you check into that?
Yes, we looked at the road, it does need repair, and just not the season time to do it. And I have spoken with the county commissioner, and he has agreed to do some trade-off stuff, you know. We're going to help them with some things here and there, and they're going to go ahead and they're going to come out there and do that road it's going to be next summer though before it gets done, when the weather changes for oil and chip stuff. They'll get it done though. We're going to get it done.
Also, what about that one addition east of the Apache Community Building? Remember, I think her name was Tammy Acebramy?
Yes, sir.
She said once y'all fix that road, well, her water meter start flooding.
Yeah.
Did y'all check on that, or?
Yes, we've been over there and assessed it, and I even spoke with the lady that lives here on the corner. I think it's Acebramy, and we've come to a solution. The best thing we can do for this particular problem is what happened is when they put the asphalt in there, it just kind of dammed a little bit around that curve, and it's holding the water. What we intend to do is to go in there and put some dirt in there and raise that side back up where it was before, so the water can just go where it was going before.
So we're working on it?
Yes, sir, we
Okay.
are. The other one too, there's a little addition in town there. I believe that was brought up, Landon Lane.
Yeah,
And
it was.
we can't get anybody to take ownership on that road. The city won't touch it. They say it's a private driveway. They won't touch it. They won't take ownership until it's blacktopped. And I visited with the private drive program, and we are going to start hauling some millings in there. It's less likely to wash, It stabilizes better than the 1.5-inch rock we most currently use now. But we are on that problem too. We're gonna start on that. I think this next week, when it's weather dries, clears a little bit. We do have those. We have been looking at them, but we're gonna do something with them.
All right, that's it.
All righty. All right, barring any other questions on that one, we'll go to resolution number.
Mr. Tiano, I have a question, please.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
What about those potholes in Cache that we talked about within the city limits? Did y'all talk to Cache about
Yes,
that?
we spoke with the city and the county both, and the city has submitted a letter to the county for help on fixing those couple of spots in there. But it's just not the time of year we can do that.
Okay.
As soon as the weather clears, it gets dry and a little warmer, where we can put the hot lay back in there.
Okay.
But they are being, we're gonna do something with that too.
Thank you.
All right. Good. All right, we're going to go to resolution number 0419. This is to purchase a backhoe, and it's called the equipment purchase. So it does state here, the Comanche Nation DOT is requesting to purchase and add a new backhoe and trailer to the Transportation Improvement Plan. Tip, funds for the new equipment will come from the government-to-government G2G account. And now therefore be it resolved, the Comanche Business Committee authorizes the use of G2G funding under current approved Comanche Nation tribal government property and procurement policies and procedures by Comanche Nation Resolution number 02216. Be it further resolved that the CBC hereby approves the purchase of a new backhoe and trailer and authorizes the approval of the bid submitted per the Property and Procurement Department policies and procedures by Warren Catt, in the amount of $115,800. That it consists of a 1-year warranty. The CBC also approves to have the BIA Branch of Transportation and Southern Plains Regional Office to add the new equipment, backhoe and trailer, to the nation's Transportation Improvement Plan. I went over this and had Mr. Tejano, he visited me and kind of helped me out on a decision that KCA will soon be coming to. These guys have been a proven vendor. They have followed the procurement process, and they do have 3 bids. And on this, Adrian, as we discussed before, you've done business with them, never had a problem with them. They've been a pretty good, serviceable type of vendor, correct?
Yes, sir, they're very reliable.
Okay, all right. That's before us, gentlemen. I need a motion to continue. Gentleman and lady, sorry, Miss Vice Chair.
I make a motion to accept resolution 0-19.
All right. Motion has been made. I need a second.
Mr. Chairman, I second that motion.
Seconded by CBC Red Elk. All those in favor, oh, go ahead, Johnny.
Where is the tribe going to have ownership of this, or where will it be housed, or does anybody know?
Adrian?
Yes, sir.
The question CBC Poway poses is, where is this going to be stored, and is it going to be the tribe's inventory?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it will. It's going to be stored in the lot behind the new transportation building out here. It will be kept in the lot with private drives equipment. And it will be, the tribe will have ownership of it.
Good enough, Johnny?
Yes.
Okay. All right, can you back me up? Did we get a second?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of resolution number 0419, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right. I believe we're going to have a backhoe there, Adrian.
Thank you, CDC.
Righty.
Appreciate your concern in this matter.
Well, today I did recognize one parent from the Apache Boone School System, and today we do have our higher education director here, and just like last month or 2 months ago, we worked with Indiana on this same process. Catherine, you got the floor. This is our higher education director.
Hi, I just want to say, and I want to thank you for being so persistent in contacting us. We had contacted the BIA and had talked to them about, they're basically wanting to restore all of the JOMs within our state, I'm sure within other states as well. And Boone Apache had, I don't know how long ago it's been since they've had one, and Indiahoma. So that's what we are doing. We're looking for those schools in our area that have, especially our Comanche kids, so that they can get their services back to them. And they're wanting to restore it back to the very original days when JOM was first put out there for our students. And so we've been working with them, and I'm just thrilled that we get to work with you all and, you know, attend their meetings and be a part of that. And I'm so happy, Mr. Nelson and where's he at? Cornell, Pee Wee Wardy, that they went and they represented not only the parents but the students at a meeting, and they got a lot accomplished. I was very impressed with that, and so we want to continue this with our schools. So if you all know of any other schools that need our help, we'll be glad to assist them. Thank you.
All right. And with that, I'd like to give recognition to the treasurer of the Kiowa tribe, Mr. Carter, and to the Apache chair, the Apache vice chair, and the Apache treasurer, which would be Bob Camartley, Don Camartley, and Mr. Killsfirst, Chris Killsfirst. And what was so ironic, Ms. Salpity, being a parent, and most parents in Apache Boone or Boone Apache School District, as soon as you guys even organize a parade, that just said it all, that here are some parents that are on fire for the education of their children. So we are there to help them. So here we go. Resolution number 0519. The CBC, as a duly elected official body to conduct business for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation, and shall review established priorities. And whereas the Bureau of Indian Education, Oklahoma Area Education Office is providing the Comanche Nation that opportunity by contracting with their office to operate and monitor the Johnson O'Malley education programs within the jurisdictional service area of the Comanche Nation. And whereas the Comanche Nation has determined it will seek to operate these programs with funds provided through formula funding by the BIE, Oklahoma Area Education Office, and whereas the Comanche Nation Higher Education will agree to establish a JOM program with the Boone Apache Public Schools Indian Parent Committee. Now therefore be it resolved that the CBC hereby authorizes the Comanche Nation Higher Education Department to partner with the BIE JOM programs by establishing a JOM program with the Boone Apache Public Schools Indian Parent Committee. That's what we have before us, resolution number 05-19.
I make that motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Hallelujah. All right. Motion made. Need a second.
I second.
All right. Jump ball. Got a second from the vice chair and from Mr. Odyssey. All those in favor of resolution number 05-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
I have a question.
Sure.
Why were these programs discontinued?
Well,
And also, who approves these to get these in the school?
the BIA does. They're the Johnson O'Malley program in Oklahoma City. You have to get your application in and all the work in. Sometimes the schools just determine they don't want to mess with it. They don't want to do it, which is the Boone Apache School. Sometimes there's just been misappropriation of funds in the past, and basically because they've I guess reprimanded, for lack of better words, they've just kind of not done it. But when I talked to the BIA, I had asked them about Indiahoma schools, and they said, well, who told them that they couldn't apply? So I took that back to them, and they said, oh, we can apply. Some of them don't even know that they can still apply even though they've been in trouble in the past.
Right.
So it's all different circumstances.
Right. And, you know, we are so lucky as a nation, Eddie, that we have a tribal member that is in the highest ranks of Oklahoma education, Mr. Guerrero. And with that, you know, he has to have an impartial view to everything because, you know, he's part of the state. But that advocacy is there, and it's really prevalent. And Julian, I applaud you, man. I really do. I applaud you. Who would have ever thought the new president of OU would invite all tribal members there? That never, ever happened, ever. And that this advocacy is really going statewide with all 39 tribes. It's a great thing. So Eddie, did that answer it okay?
Well, can the school deny the request?
Well, evidently they can because they've been doing it.
Because the state of Oklahoma is in charge of education in the state, so that's what my concern was. They can deny it.
They can deny it, but then the tribe can come back and pick it up and help the parents. So even though the school denies it, we can come in and help organize it and help them manage it.
So the JOM can come through us?
Yes.
Okay.
One thing about the meeting there, and you've never experienced this in Anadarko because there's so many tribes and so many Native Americans that live there. They're very strong in their JOM programs, but Dr. Cornell and I and the Apache chairman, we were really shocked when it was the superintendent of the schools. He's kind of like, we didn't know all this was supposed to happen, more or less. Am I right, Cornell? It was like naivety. Wow, really? You know, there is impact aid, and a lot of people need to understand that impact aid is also for disabled children, no matter what race, speech impediment, or, you know, an actual limb, or, you know, it covers the gambit, you know. And one thing about our Native American students, some that don't even have their identity, which we're going to go to next, their identity is more or less not even looked at, when honestly we make up almost 50% of the actual education district. So, you know, it's we're making some it's not really militant moves. It's working together, networking really well. And when you network well and people get it, and, you know, you're not raising anybody to the highest level of incompetency, it seems to work. So, resolution number 0619. On this, I will give the floor to Dr. Pee Wee Wardy due to one fact. And if you could explain to the audience, and I'll read this resolution and we'll vote on it. Regalia, yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Excuse me, Doctor. And for the record, this is our educational liaison for the Comanche Nation, Dr. Cornell Pee Wee Wardy.
A year ago, I was appointed to educational liaison for the Comanche Nation, and of the numerous inquiries from the surrounding schools and community citizens, Boone Apache school system, I've received two inquiries about issues of conflict with students and families, and both related to tribal regalia, and just being honored to try to express themselves in their identity through feathers, through plumes, to stoles, to moccasins, in the honorable ceremonies, primarily of graduation. That inquiry, the first one came last year, right prior to graduation at Boone Apache High School. And that was at the 11th hour, and so my inquiry, it went silent because of so much high school graduation, and so I never did receive a phone call, even to this day. So I followed up in the summer to say I'd like to visit with you, and it wasn't until I got another inquiry this fall by Miss Salpity, I don't know if she's here.
Yeah, she's here.
And her support and her family, and so with that, I followed up on that, and we had an invitation to come to the meeting by the Salpiti family and also the superintendent and principal of schools. And from that, I presented a couple of resolutions that I'd worked on in the state of Oregon and Washington, whereas the state superintendents at a blanket resolution legislation passed language that would say that all public school institutions will honor the regalia of the Native students in ceremony. So I took that template and tailored it to Boone Apache schools at the request of the CBC and also the family, and with the support of the chairperson, Mr. Nelson, and also the Apache chair, the Kiowa vice chair were represented at that meeting, at a board meeting, listened to our voices, and they were amenable to talk to us about changing their policy. And so that's where we are now. They were, I could tell their body language is very resistant. They were afraid of the backlash that they might have from the non-Native community and what they might say, but we presented documentation of other places around the country that have done that. They've already looked at the issue that was happening, I think, at Sapulpa or one of the schools that Cherokees were looking at, that they passed over. So I took that template and just tailored it to where we are today, and presented it to the school board and let them know this is what we're working on. And so currently I'm working in concert with the superintendent of Boone Apache Schools and the principal to develop a new policy that will honor our students, not just Comanche students, but all Native students in their wearing of tribal regalia, which primarily is eagle feathers, plumes, stoles, buckskin, leggings, all the things that are part of our identity as Comanche citizens. And so that's where we are today, and that's what prompted this resolution, because it not only applies to Boone Apache School, but in my inquiry from other citizens, this issue is happening surrounding Southwest Oklahoma. And so by having this resolution, it will, I believe, pave the way to present to other superintendents that are presently dealing with this. So I'm honored to present the resolution to you.
Amen.
To your knowledge, does Lawton Public School system allow this?
Yeah, we did this last year. I presented a white paper to Superintendent Tom Deegan. What he did is presented this same standpoint to all the principals, and all the principals honored this. And the three principals of Lawton Public Schools. It didn't go to the formalities of a resolution or going to their school board, but he did direct their principals to honor this request last year.
Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate this.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yes.
To the people of Apache School in Boone. This has been going on for years. This has been going on for years. We heard about this long. What avenue do we have to put these schools on notice? Can we sue them?
I think that when I talked to the school board, and I talked to them about TEDNA and their responsibilities of working with the local tribes. And by the way, as I began to look at the population, at the Native population in Boone Apache Schools, and it's primarily Comanche. Overwhelmingly, in my mind, I thought it would be more Apache, being an Apache, but it's not. There's more Comanche students there than, just like Lawton Public Schools, there's more Comanche students than anybody else. And so what I think is they're just resistant. It's not like you have to remind them, but there's a lot of what I call arrogant dissonance, which is kind of looking the other way until people bring up this issue. But I think to me it's a legal issue, that it's a responsibility of not only the government and the state, but through the treaties that we have and how we are to bring that up, and not until we bring up these kinds of issues that a lot of the administration will pay attention to that. And it's really unfortunate, you know, me being a former administrator, if anything scares administrators, it would be something that would get them in trouble. And so they're more attempted to move in that direction to rectify that. So that's where we are. And so even that we're at the table to design a new policy for Boone Apache schools, it's not like they're all on board. There's a lot of resistance to that. That's just what I might observe. But we're moving in that direction. I would think the next step would be at the state level, copying the California, the Oregon, the state resolutions that mandated and legislated that at that state level. We've probably not gone to that, but that was my recommendation when the Oklahoma Council of Indian Ed met 2 months ago here in Lawton.
To add to that, Eddie, if I could, one thing about city councils and school boards, if you show them an impact that the Comanche Nation has on these communities, I mean, Lawton was like, I don't know, it kind of went like that when I showed the mayor what kind of financial impact we have on this city. And of course, when it came to liquor by the drink in Cotton County, we showed the financial impact there. Finances rule, commerce rules, and we are a big player in Southwest Oklahoma. As far as pushback from towns, you know, it's inherent. It's been inherited. But we're changing that. And it's changing the face of Southwest Oklahoma. It really is. So, let's go to resolution number 0619. The Comanche Nation Constitution directs the Comanche Business Committee to be bound by the Comanche Nation purpose and all lawful matters within the Comanche Nation Constitution as it's written. Whereas, this resolution affirms our ancient practices and sovereign right to wear tribal regalia during graduation ceremonies and public spaces. And whereas the wearing of items of cultural significance such as eagle feathers, plumes, beaded caps, and stoles had sacred religious place for Comanche people. Tribal regalia are often gifted for significant achievements, including high school, college, university graduation, and in public spaces. And whereas Comanche Nation recently expressed support for Comanche students who were advocated for Boone Apache Public Schools to change their policy of prohibiting items of cultural significance on graduation regalia. And whereas the Comanche Nation assigns their education liaison, Dr. Cornell Pee Wee Wardy, to work with Boone Apache Public Schools administration to help them amend their school policies to allow Comanche students to wear tribal regalia on their graduation regalia and in public spaces. So, therefore, be it resolved, the Comanche Nation expresses its appreciation of Boone Apache Public School Administration for supporting Comanche students and the Comanche Nation on this very important cultural issue and encouraging all public schools to allow the wearing of items of cultural significance for religious purposes at high school graduation and in public spaces. That is before us, resolution number 0619. I do need a motion to continue.
I have a question.
Sure.
I know we're using public spaces, but is there a more definite kind of statement of the public? It's where activity occurs, I know, or something. I direct to Dr. Cornell, would you?
Yeah. I added the concept of public spaces because what I've witnessed in my experience is that when advocacy has come to school boards, to council meetings, many times we come in our regalia, we come in our clothes that are really significant, and a lot of medicine comes with us. A lot of that identity is prohibited in many spaces. Feathers, fans, medicine that are stopped by security in public spaces. And what I'm suggesting is that in the language that this be allowed, not just in graduations, but whenever they're comes time for advocacy and voice.
But is there a different word for spaces?
Are you splitting hairs here, Secretary?
No, I'm just curious, because I can see spaces can have different perspectives,
Yeah.
interpretations.
Yeah, well, that's just my understanding and thinking at the moment. My experience comes from Oregon, West Coast, knowing that a lot of the tribal leaders, even when they come to the State Department, they're stopped at the door because they have regalia on.
So you're thinking of that as a space?
That's my definition of that public space.
So anywhere where they move within that public arena?
Yes, and
It's
so maybe
space.
the language needs to be,
Yeah.
spelled out or amended to that, so it can be more definitive, but
Yeah, I think
that's.
that's my only question.
I
Seems
have
to
a
be more
question,
need to
if
be
you don't mind.
definitive.
Now this just says the Comanche tribe, right? Why don't you, you said before there was a federal law also, right? That guarantees us these rights.
Yeah, this comes.
Okay, well, my question is, why don't we put that in here? Because when they see this, they just gonna see Comanche, what they've been doing for years, put it on the side. But if you put the federal or the government ruling on here, they'll have to look at it and say, well, I didn't know that. They can't say that. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I understand. The two referrals that I had were Comanche families, and so that's what our intent was. But when I put in the language, which is the Native American Rights religion, that comes from NARF, Native American Rights Fund. The number of court cases that they defended in numerous states that had that kind of standpoint, the legal standpoint. And so that's why that language is inserted there.
This all came about, Eddie, due to the fact that the parents at Boone Apache did tell me there was a statement made right at the start of, I believe it was their curriculum day, okay? And they were talking about what's going to happen this year. And at the top of their agenda was, there will not be no regalia worn. And now we see a softening of that statement. This will solidify it. That we have a backing as a nation, as a government, that, hey, since time immemorial, we have always done this, so.
If I may add just a comment that if we weren't there to intervene in the family's behalf, I don't think that this would have happened at all.
Correct.
Especially when given the documents that we shared that are happening across the country and in the state of Oklahoma as well. So the advocacy of Mrs. Salpity is very admirable, because when you go to the small towns and you're going to talk in your advocacy for your Native families, many times you're all alone. Many of them do not have Native representation on their school boards.
Yeah.
And so you have no advocacy, and of course the employees are assigned to their position and they have to do what they can, and so many times they can't advocate because of the restriction within their position. But I can, and that's why I did that on behalf of the nation.
I think it's good too that the Kiowa Nation and Apache Nation, as well as Comanche, was representative.
Yes,
Sure.
I think that's powerful when the three nations are together. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Back me up here. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 06-19.
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Poway and Mr. Narcomi. All those in favor for resolution number 0619, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes?
I have a statement or a question. Julian, we've been talking about Johnson O'Malley, and then Impact Aid came into the conversation. Can you explain the two and the differences in those?
Absolutely. Well, to the council, I'll step over here. And to the audience, my name is Julie Guerrero. I'm the Executive Director of American Indian Ed at the Oklahoma State Department of Education. So a lot of my statements do need to remain impartial on local community issues. However, to answer your question, Councilmember Riddell, State Impact Aid is governed through the U.S. Department of Education. It is the same department that governs Title VI Indian education. Those two programs, they're major funding programs that affect a lot of local school districts. Those are separate from what you guys are currently talking about in Johnson O'Malley. Johnson O'Malley is not run out of the U.S. Department of Education. It is ran out of the U.S. Department of the Interior, which is governed through the Bureau of Indian Education, which is still somewhat partially under the auspice of the Bureau of Indian Affairs. State Impact Aid can qualify. I would assume there are many districts in the Southwest because of Fort Sill military installation, as well as other federal Indian lands in trust, perhaps would have an impact as well. So I don't know how many districts qualify or use those funds, but I do know that some of those funds are money that's left on the table and not applied for, similar to Johnson O'Malley. So in State Impact Aid, in its relationship to Indian education is quite similar because the way you qualify is to be of Native heritage, as well as parents or occupations that are on federal lands, which could be federal lands entrusted by the federal government on behalf of tribes, or just federal lands in general, such as military installations. Does that answer?
Yes, thank you.
There's such a thing they call the IPP, and it's the Indian Parent Policies. And most of these IPPs, guys, they're filled out by the administration of the teachers. And there's nothing significant for the parents. Haven't you noticed that, Ms. Alpity? So it has to take parents' engagement. It takes the parents' engagement.
It really does.
And the IPP has to be written by the parents. It has, not by administrators, and not any monies to be handled by the administration, but to be coordinated by the administration. That's where we've lost focus, but we're getting that focus back. Thank God. All right. I was going to say, can someone Lulu for that? But anyway. All right. Resolution number 06-19. Now, this is a DOJ Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation, a CTAS. And it's about funds from $250K up to $1.5 million.
Yes.
07.
And
You mean 07, you said 06.
719.
It's 719.
my bad, 07-19. All right. Jimmy, who were you wanting to? All right. Ms. Nagel?
Good morning, members of the CBC, and Happy New Year.
Good New Year.
It's CTAS time again. We are very, very excited. Last year, the Comanche Nation won the second largest award in the state of Oklahoma, so we definitely have our work cut out for us this year. We are going to be writing for 2 purpose areas. As you may or may not know, we now have a probation officer on staff who is working with our tribal court, so very, very excited about that. So we'll be writing for that program for some state-of-the-art technology to assist him in his position, and we will also be writing for the reintegration program with Ms. Bobby Limit.
That's great, great, thank you. All right. The Comanche Nation sees the critical need to improve public safety and victim services in tribal communities. This solicitation provides federally recognized tribes an opportunity to apply for funding to aid in developing a comprehensive and coordinated approach to public safety and victimization. And whereas the United States Department of Justice Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation, CTAS, has funds available from $250,000 to a maximum of $1.5 million for up to 3 years to accomplish this purpose. And whereas the tribal chairman or his designee is the official representative of the nation and is authorized to negotiate and approve contracts and any amendments to such. And now therefore be it resolved that the CBC does hereby approve the submission of this grant application to the United States Department of Justice, the DOJ, Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation, CTAS. Yes, sir.
I have a question for Ms. Nagel. How much funding has the Comanche tribe received off of CTAS grants since 2017?
Off of the CTAS, no, I've been here just 2 years. To my knowledge, prior to me assuming the position, the Comanche Nation never won a CTAS before. So the first year, we wrote and we funded the tribal court for, is it $1 million?
It was 800 and, it was in the 800,000.
It was between $500,000 and $1 million. I would have to double check those
Sure.
numbers, and I would be more than happy to do that for you on Monday, Mr. Rivers.
Just curious how much funding CTAS has received, how much funding did we receive off
Last
of
year,
CTAS?
like I said, the Comanche Nation won the second largest award in the state of Oklahoma, and I want to say we won $2.8 million. We funded 4 different departments for the nation with that money.
I was just curious because this is funding that the tribe receives from DOJ and what entails, that comes with it, which there's a lot of funding from CTAS that is available for the tribes.
Well, keep in mind, sir, we are one of the prolific new courts that's held its medal, and it's moving forward, and it's going to be, we got a judicial branch. We're actually a government, and that's one thing I love. So, be it further resolved that the CBC, acting for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation, does hereby authorize this resolution for such intent. Resolution number 07-19 is before us.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion made.
I second it.
Seconded by Mr. Odyssey. All those in favor of resolution number 07-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right. EPA Region 6 Environmental Program. Is this a grant we're going after, or is this a mature grant that we're just resubmitting paperwork to?
It's a mature grant, sir.
Okay. Hey, wait, no, Lynn, I didn't recognize you. Happy New Year. All righty. And no greater than 125K. Kind of status quo from last year, or?
Basically, I put it at 125,000 just because through appropriations, it fluctuates, but normally the highest I've ever seen it's 125. This next year, the ceiling, they've set it at 115.
Okay.
But that's why I put the language at 125, just in case next year they increase.
Sounds good, Lynn. Okay, let me read this. Resolution number 08-19. The Comanche Nation, we do have this critical need to build the capacity necessary to administer its own integrated environmental program, develop the capacity to manage specific programs, and establish a core program for environmental protection. Activities eligible for funding under this program are those for planning, developing, and establishing capacity to implement environmental protection programs consistent with agency standards and regulations. Whereas the Comanche Nation, EPA, has funds available from funding of no greater than $125K for eligible tribal applicants, funding of no greater than $125K for a limited number of eligible consortium. 3, funding of 2-year work plans. Individual work plans and budgets are required for each program year. Whereas the tribal chairman or his designee is the official representative of the Comanche Nation and is authorized to negotiate and approve contracts and any amendments to such. Now therefore be it resolved that the CBC does hereby approve the submission of this grant application to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, Region 6, and be it further resolved that the CBC, acting for and on behalf of the nation, does hereby authorize the resolution for such intent. Got a quick question. Have you checked up there, has anybody been furloughed through EPA?
A lot of the staff here at the regional office has been furloughed.
Really? Okay. Will this affect this coming into the fiscal year?
No.
Okay.
They assured me that all of this would go, the portal that we have to submit through is open. There are some core personnel there that are intaking these and time stamping them, so as long as we meet their deadline, then we'll be okay.
One thing for sure, if we were on high risk, this wouldn't be accepted at all. That is before us, resolution number 08-19. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Mr. Tippecani. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by our vice chair. All those in favor on resolution number 08-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right. That did pass. Resolution number 09-19. And this speaks to Region 6 also, and this Water Quality Protection Division. And that is the CWA section, Section 106. Whereas the Comanche Nation EPA has funds available from funding of no greater than $80K for eligible tribal applicants. 2, funding of 2-year work plans. The 2-year application should include individual work, plans, budgets, and budget narratives for each year. Number 3, CWA Section 106 requires a non-federal cost share match of 5% of the total project cost, and the cost share match must be provided from non-federal sources. Whereas the tribal chairman or his designee is the official representative of the nation and is authorized to negotiate and approve contracts and any amendments to such. And now therefore be it resolved that the CBC does hereby approve the submission of this grant application to the EPA, Region 6, Water Quality Division, CWA, Section 106. And be it further resolved that the CBC, acting for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation, does hereby authorize a resolution for such intent. This is before us, and it is about the Water Quality Protection Division. Resolution number 09-19 needs a motion to continue.
I make that motion.
Motion made by Mr. Tipicani. I need a second by Mr. Narcomi. All those in favor on resolution number 09-19, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay.
Thank you, CBC.
Thank you, Lynn. All right. Resolution number 10-19. And this is going over a grant application for the National Park Services, and that's based on NACPRA. Do we have that director here? Okay, Indiana Jones, what's going on here?
It's just funding to continue to do planning, research, repatriation efforts.
Okay, there we go. It's a mature grant. Okay. Is it 2 or 1?
No, these are annual.
Annual, okay. Resolution number 10-19. This Constitution establishes the CBC as a duly elected official body designated to conduct business. Whereas the CBC deems that a project-based NACPRA grant will enhance the efforts of the Comanche Nation NACPRA program to identify, record, consult, repatriate, and preserve cultural remains of the Comanche Nation by providing assistance in the continuation of repatriation-related activities. And now therefore be it resolved that the CBC hereby authorize and support fiscal year 2019 NACPRA grant application to the U.S. Department of Interior, National Park Service for implementation. This is before us for NACPRA resolution number 1019. I do need a motion for this.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Mr. Narcomi, and need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Reddow. All those in favor on resolution number 1019, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. And I made reference to, with this government shutdown, if we were on high risk, this wouldn't go through. All right.
I want to raise a question.
Sure.
Maybe it's of the TA, but you know, the Department of Energy has a number of grants. And I see, to my knowledge, we have never really applied for a DOE. You know, and I think about such things as solar panels on individual homes. You know, you can place those and they can become in lieu of, you know, energy outside source. And that's happening across reservation areas out west. And you know, a lot of people in remote areas now have electricity based on solar up on their homes. And it seems to me it'd be smart to look into that in the future to see if we can help our members, especially when you look at their energy costs this time of the year.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And if they had solar panels on their homes, they can have an alternate source. Anyway, I just want to bring that out because I think DOE has those, a mass of grant opportunities.
Is wind a mineral? That's been debated. Wind,
Yeah,
is it a mineral? Is the sun a mineral? It's a natural resource, correct?
It's a natural resource, but I don't think it's a mineral.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
I think it has value.
It has value, it's
Because
value.
I know that in farm, it's up there by, going to Carnegie, Apache, or that Ford Gap Road. That was Kiowa land. They sold it, and really they should have been getting some kind of, like, for lack of a better word, mineral rights off of it.
Sure.
But they, they didn't. That wasn't part of the contract.
There's water, there's oil, there's gas.
But yeah, it should be.
Renewables.
Because you have the United, all the world recognizes airspace, when you travel into somebody else's space.
Right. And Mr. Tipcott, we've been remiss on bringing forth a natural resources board. We've been remiss in that.
Yeah.
With that.
And I've been promoting it.
We better move.
Because even that little rock crusher, that's a natural resource, and that was on allotted land.
Sure.
And so,
It should have never moved out of.
and that family it's okay to let them do that, but they should still be getting.
They should have had a lifetime use.
All right.
But the Bureau is not actually for us.
Right.
It's the federal government.
Resolution number 1119. This is the description to 2 north of bearing legal description for the property referenced as the Command House. No, it's called Food Distribution. Comanche Gold House. What we're trying to do here, Dennis, is we're trying to get it into trust, correct? All right.
Legal description written the way that the Bureau wants it done. And then the way that the abstract needed it to be done in order to prepare an abstract. Well, last time there was some language in there that this abstract company didn't like, and so we checked with the attorney, and the attorney said it would probably be better to remove it to make it more clear. And we got this information last time just before the meeting, and so we weren't able to pull it and to make those corrections, so we went ahead and tabled it at the last meeting. And so we made those corrections, and now we're asking you to approve it.
Very good. All right. Sure.
Yeah. Since that's the food distribution office, those shelters that are along I don't know the name of that road that runs from Matichai to.
I think they call it Red Oak Drive or
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
but along there and then across the street where the police department, the EPA and all, is all that trust?
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
No, I know Dennis is trying to work on that with the police department, right?
Yes.
And work on bringing that into trust, but the application isn't completed, I don't think.
Well, let's just cut to the chase. The way they were bought was not conducive to put it to trust, so we'll leave it at that. All right. Resolution number 1119. The Comanche Constitution, Article 6, Section 7, establishes the CBC as a duly elected official body designated to conduct business. Whereas the CBC, the Comanche Nation, owns the Comanche Nation, not the CBC. The Comanche Nation owns fee property, hereinafter the Comanche Nation Food Distribution, is located on our reservation within the exterior boundaries of the KCA reservation in Comanche County, Oklahoma. Whereas the Comanche Nation has determined it necessary to revise the legal description to a true north-bearing legal description, more particularly described as follows. And it's about a half page of township, the range, and the west. And I know why it needed all these different new values, because, it's just a strange particular part of land. So, whereas the Comanche Nation plans on furthering governmental purposes through the expansion of its land base for tribal administrative matters to include the Comanche Nation food distribution for the use and benefit of its citizens. Whereas the CBC is in support of tribal self-determination and has determined the best interests of the Comanche Nation to obtain approval of the United States Department of the Interior for the placement of the food distribution property into trust. Now therefore be it resolved, the CBC requests that the food distribution property be placed in trust for the benefit of the Comanche Nation pursuant to the Indian Reservation Act, which is 25 U.S.C. cited 465, and now therefore be it resolved that the chairman of the Comanche Nation is authorized to act on behalf of the nation to direct and oversee the preparation of the trust application on the behalf of the Comanche Nation, including authorizing of any surveys, appraisals, abstracts, title insurance, environmental reviews, or necessary services and reports, and is further authorized to submit said application to the BIA on behalf of the Comanche Nation. CBC, we have resolution number 1119 before us. I need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve to put the Commod House into trust.
All right.
I second it.
All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Those opposed, same sign. On this, we do have our executive director of our Comanche Nation Gaming Commission. And what we have before all tribes, they have minimum internal control procedures. Then we also have tribal internal control procedures. And what we have as a nation is a living document. It's always being worked on, it's being changed, it's relevant to the day. It's a living document. Am I correct? All right. It's like living and breathing. All right. So with this, Shannon, do you have anything to add to this before I read it? No. All right. We have to do this for NIGC. We have to have it for the record, and it applies also to our gaming ordinance. So, resolution number 1219. The nation has committed itself to promote, protect, and preserve the general welfare and interests of Indian gaming through the passage of the Comanche Tribal Gaming Ordinance and the development of sound policies and practices with respect to the conduct of gaming activities in Comanche Indian country within the Kiowa, Comanche, and Apache Reservation. Whereas the Comanche Nation Gaming Commission, in accordance with the Comanche Nation Gaming Ordinance, is the official body designated to adopt regulations to govern gaming. And whereas the Comanche Business Committee considers it is in the best interest of the Comanche Nation Gaming Commission to approve the Comanche Nation Tribal Internal Control Standards, TICS, and it is labeled as CNGC P-40-700. Now therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee hereby approves the Comanche Nation Tribal Internal Control Standards. That is our resolution before us. I need a motion to continue.
Now we need to see them.
Have fun. It's about, how big is that, Julian? It's huge.
I understand.
It's what I gave you at our Thursday CBC.
Right.
Yes, and I went through. I don't know if others have gone through.
Yeah.
But that's important to go through that. If they all have, I think we can approve it. If we haven't, I think we should wait till they
Do we have any time
reviewed
constraints
it.
with NIGC at all?
No, we do have TICs currently approved, and those will just stay in effect until these are approved.
All right.
So if we tabled it for everybody to complete their
Yes.
review
You want to give a class on it?
on 50 pages? Shannon and I can do that, yes.
All right.
I think we really need to go through those.
Hi, Tanisha. Yes.
Is this document that will be public?
Ticks, I don't, what's the reg on that?
I don't think they've been public before.
But there's nothing that says that they can't be public.
Correct. It would just depend on the information that's in it and if you deem it proprietary.
And you guys are gonna read it thoroughly before you approve it?
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, because that's very important
Yes,
document.
very important.
Just saying.
So I'd like to table it until
Well, make that motion, sir.
I make a motion to table this until all the CBC has thoroughly read this. 50 pages.
All right.
And they've tested on it.
Yes, and that's right.
That's the motion before us for the record. I need a second.
I second.
Seconded by Clyde. All those at table, resolution number 19, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. All right. Resolution 1319 will be in discussion and will come out.
So I'd like to take that moment,
All right.
if you allow me.
All right. And Mr. Tipicani has asked for a moment, so if we could all be adherent to Mr. Secretary Treasurer.
That's yours, isn't it? I'll stand for a moment. Excuse me for standing, but I appreciate everyone that's here today. You know, we've gone through a number of things, and look, we're in 2019. It's astounding. You know, some of us were recounting the year 2000. Remember how it was supposed to be a reckless year? All kinds of things wouldn't work. Your computers would go into orbit and all that kind of thing. Nothing really happened, except many things happened in a sense of work and duty that all of us had in time. But the thing that I like to bring attention to, you know, this is the last occasion that we'll have some of our members sitting up here. We have an election pending, our chairs in the election, our attorneys in the election, our tribal administrators in the election. So whether they'll be here after this date that the chairman has announced on the 12th, we were yet to see. If they are, we can all say, welcome back. If not, welcome to the new. But in the interim, we're also losing someone that's been very special to us. And I say very special to the Comanche Nation, to the Numina, to the people, served the people, worked hard for the people. And I felt this is the last occasion this individual will share with us an official CBC meeting, because the next comes in February. And I'm talking about Susan Cawthron. Susan stood up in a time when the nation was in real duress and stress. She stood up. She even went to the General Counsel to get authorization to act because they didn't have a full quorum. She's done some remarkable things. Not only that, to proceed with that authority to get the government back into a state of stability. And the real stability was financial. We had almost exhausted, if not truly exhausted, our funds. And it's a shame. And I trust we don't ever have that happen again. But the honor that we have to give is to Susan. She stepped forward with the tribal administrator and a few of the CBC that were sitting here with her at that time. So I applaud them all myself, but I would like to say that the whole nation owes her a great thank you for what she's done. So we have here a letter that I want to read, and it's too bad we don't have greater things to present to Susan. But I think this is something that we are sharing, and it comes from the heart, I would like to say, of all the Comanche people. The Business Committee would like to express our sincere thank you for all the courageous and necessary actions you undertook as the acting chairman at a time of significant challenges to the survival of the Comanche Nation government. Your actions, along with the tribal administrator and other committeemen, carried us forward to stabilizing and securing the tribal government. Once again, thank you from all the Comanche Nation Business Committee. We wish you well in your future endeavors. And this is signed by all the CBC here. And Susan, we're going to make a copy of this and I'll give you an official copy. But again, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. We all thank you, because I know for one, because some of us have gone through hardships relative to the government. But she went through some special tough ones and took it on. And that's because what she's done. I'd say we stand here today more now as a stable government again, in good standing, no debt, and it's phenomenal to move from a place of great debt to a place of no debt. And there's a lot of persons to be thankful for that. And as we mentioned in this letter, we include the tribal administrator working with Susan at that time, as well as other CBC that were here with her. But it was more than that. There were directors of programs. There were gaming persons. There were all kinds of people throughout the government and throughout the enterprises of the nation with which she had to work. So they're not mentioned. But you don't get anywhere without having an action undergoing with all of those. So you can see we have the Comanche people have a real need to say thank you to Susan.
Susan, will you please stand up? And on that, could someone please pose a motion to go into executive session?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to add a few things.
Sure.
You know, in 2014 or 15, whenever Susan took over as interim chairman, you know, at that time, well, she made history. She's the only woman chairman that the Comanche ever had, intern chairman. And at that time, we couldn't get a full quorum to do business for the Comanche tribe. Like Tippecanoe Express, she went to the general council to get approved for herself and two of our committeemen, which is, I'll recognize Jonathan Poway and myself. Those three got the approval from the general council to carry on business. Because at that time, 2015, our lawyer, I can't even think of his name now, but at that time, they suggested to the Comanche tribe that we shut down until a new chairman was elected, which the chairman was elected, but it wasn't until October or November of that same year. So we would have been shut down for 9 months. This whole place would have been shut down, even the commode house. Everything would have been shut down for 9 whole months. You got 300-something employees up here, no paycheck. No paycheck to pay their bills, to send their kids to school, to give them just, you know, just utilities, you know. And it wasn't, I'm not bragging, but if it wasn't for Susan and Jonathan and myself to step up to the plate, we could have easily said, nah, heck no, we don't want to do it. But we stepped up to the plate, not because of ourselves, but because of you 17,000 Comanche people that's on the road to keep everything, our head above water. And myself, I appreciate what we've done and what Susan done. But just think, if our 300 employees didn't get no paycheck for the 9 months, what kind of shape would we have been in? We'd have to start all over again, all over. So, I'd just like to thank Susan personally and Jonathan for helping us keep our tribal government going. Thank you.
Thank you, Clyde. You know, our nation experienced 2 shutdowns in the past and did us all no good. Took us 5 years in recovery. So with that said, could I have a motion to go into executive session, and we'll take a 20-minute break?
I make the motion.
What about carryover funds?
That's in the executive
Oh,
session.
oh, okay.
Need a second?
I'll second that, Chairman.
Seconded by Mr. Rideout. All those in favor to go executive session, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we should.
Mr. Rowell, in 20 minutes, we're going to give you about 2 minutes because we have made a vote, and we'll just give you an answer. Okay, let's reiterate what we said before. Who made the motion to come out of executive session?
I did.
Okay, and a second? Mr. Clyde, all those in favor to come out of executive session, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, we went over some realty issues, and we'll go to the first one. This is a resolution authorizing the negotiation and acquisition of the property near the Comanche Nation Elder Center located at 1114 Southwest G Avenue. What that is a property that is a church, that is a sound building, and it has a lot of potential parking. So, whereas the Comanche Nation seeks to acquire additional land and facilities at a fair market value to provide additional services to the Comanche Nation, its members, and the community. Can they hear me?
Yeah, they can.
Okay. And whereas the Comanche Business Committee desires to expand the nation's land base through acquisition, seeks to acquire additional land at fair market value for the future use for the Comanche Nation Elder Center. And whereas the Comanche Business Committee has determined that it is in the best interest of the Comanche Nation to negotiate for the acquisition of certain real property described as Waldman Addition Block 12, Lots 1 and 2. Whereas the Comanche Business Committee has determined the purchase of this property to be in the best interest of the Comanche Nation, and now therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee hereby authorizes the Comanche Nation Chairman, William Nelson Sr., to negotiate for the acquisition at a fair market price for the property at 1114 Southwest G Avenue in Lawton, Oklahoma, not to exceed $200,000. This was brought to us about a year ago. And we've done some shrewd negotiations on this. And it would be an asset to where people park. So we have this resolution. Can I have a number, ma'am?
13-19.
Resolution 13-19 is before us. I need a motion to continue.
I make a motion to accept resolution 13-19.
Made by our vice chair. Need a second to continue.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Rideout. All those in favor to approve resolution number 13-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We did have the city council from Davidson, Oklahoma here. And Chickasaw's got Right Turn Terrell. Well, we're going to try Right Turn Davidson, Oklahoma. A resolution authorizing the negotiation for acquisition of 5 acres in the southwest quarter, Section 10, T4S, R18W of the Indian Meridian of Tillman County, which is part of our reservation area, known as the Davidson property. The Comanche Nation is a federally recognized Indian tribe with the Constitution approved by the Secretary of the Interior on January 9, 1967, to safeguard tribal rights, powers, privileges, to improve the economic, moral, educational, and health status of its members. The Comanche Business Committee desires to expand the nation's land base through acquisition, seeks to investigate the possibility to acquire additional land at fair market value for the future use for housing, business development, or agricultural purposes. And whereas the Comanche Business Committee has determined that it is in the best interest of the Comanche Nation to negotiate for the acquisition of certain real property described as South 1/2, Southwest 1/4, Southwest 1/4, Southwest 1/4, Section 10, T4S, R18W, Indian Meridian, Tillman County, Oklahoma. And whereas the Comanche Business Committee will consider the terms of the negotiations to determine whether the purchase of this property to be the best interest of the Comanche Nation. And now therefore be it resolved that the CBC hereby authorizes the Comanche Nation Realty Department to negotiate and purchase at a fair market price not to exceed $30,000 for the 5 acres of the property referred to as the Davidson property, and present the information to the CBC for final consideration. This property is owned by the city of Davidson, They have voted. They're for it. We're for it. We need to up our rev shares. So I need a number.
14-19.
14-19.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add a point.
Sure.
When you get down to the, now therefore be it resolved, where you say to negotiate and purchase at a fair, to negotiate, I mean, to make this purchase as a fee to trust.
Sure.
You know, at the initiation of the purchase.
Sure.
It needs to be stated in there.
Okay, let me recuse this. And let's go to a motion to amend 14-19 to the last sentence to say, your words, sir.
The Comanche Nation Really Department, and really it's the Comanche Nation, I guess we're going to give it the Really Department, to negotiate the purchase as a fee to trust acquisition.
Okay. That's the motion. I do need a second to amend this.
I'll second it.
Seconded by the vice chair. All those in favor for this amended part, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The amended part will read as such. Resolution 14-19. Now therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee hereby authorizes the Comanche Nation Realty Department to negotiate and purchase as a fee to trust acquisition at a fair market price not to exceed $30,000 for the 5 acres of the property referenced as a Davidson property, and present the information to the Comanche Business Committee for final consideration. That is the resolution. I need a motion again to approve 14-19.
I make the motion.
Motion made by the Secretary Treasurer. Need a second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by the Vice Chair. All those in favor of Resolution 14-19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right. This includes a property on H Ave here in Lawton. And what it is, it's lots 2 and 3, 13 of Waldman addition to the city of Lawton. And it's roughly going to be used for parking. And it's pretty turnkey. There was a building on it. The building's been removed. There's no encumbrances. The city is all good to go with this. So we've been talking about this one for 9 months. So here we go. Go ahead and give me a number, Julia.
15-19.
Okay. Resolution 15-19. The Comanche Nation is a federally recognized Indian tribe with the Constitution approved by the Secretary of the Interior on January 9th, 1967 to safeguard tribal rights, powers, and privileges to improve the economic, moral, educational, and health status of its members. The CBC is a duly elected official body designed to conduct business for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation. The nation seeks to acquire additional land and facilities at a fair market value to provide additional services to the Comanche Nation, its members, and the community. Whereas the CBC desires to expand the nation's land base through acquisition, seeks to acquire additional land at fair market value for the future use for as the Comanche Nation Activity Center, more or less part of the Comanche Nation elders. Whereas the Comanche Business Committee has determined that it is in the best interest of the Comanche Nation to pursue the acquisition of certain real property described as follows. Lots 2 and 3, Block 13 of Waldman Edition of the City of Lawton, according to the recorded plat thereof. Whereas the CBC has determined the purchase of this property to be in the best interest of the Comanche Nation, now therefore be it resolved that the CBC hereby authorizes the Comanche Nation Realty Department to negotiate for the acquisition at a fair market price not to exceed $18,000 for this property at 1116 Southwest H Ave in Lawton, Oklahoma. Business Committee, Resolution 1519 is before you. I need a motion to continue.
Make the motion.
Motion made by Mr. Tipicani. Need a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Red Elk. All those in favor for resolution number 1519, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right. We're going to move over to what was voted on at our annual meeting. And once this election is over, we will have a secretarial election for what was voted on by the Tribal Council and voted on by the referendum vote. So, Comanche Nation Business Committee, whereas Comanche Nation Constitution, Article 6, Business Committee, Section 7J, is to promulgate and enforce ordinances and codes governing law and order to protect the peace, health, safety, and general welfare of land determined to be within Comanche tribal jurisdiction. Whereas Comanche Nation Constitution, Article 11, Amendment, Section 1 states, amendments to this Constitution may be proposed by a majority vote of the Business Committee or by a petition signed by 200 adult members of the tribe who are entitled to vote, and if approved by the Commissioner of Indian Affairs shall be submitted to the voters of the tribe. Well, this was voted on at our annual meeting. Whereas the Business Committee today is in legal quorum assembly, does call for a change to Article 5, Section 8, hiring of a tribal administrator, and Article 9, qualification of officers. Over the past decade, there has been numerous parameters that's been legislated for qualifications. And whereas Comanche Nation Constitution, Article 5, Section 8, be amended to read, Section 8, to hire an manager to administrate the tribal government who has a bachelor's degree with a minimum of 3 years' experience in high-level budgeting and management of government programs. Anyone who has been convicted of any felony and misdemeanor involving dishonesty, bribery, embezzlement, or has been determined by a court of competent jurisdiction to have committed any improper appropriation or obligation of tribal assets, any improper addition or removal from tribal rolls, any indebtedness to the nation, or fails a drug test shall not be eligible to hold the position. The administrator manager shall be under the direction of the Business Committee. Members of the Business Committee shall not be employees of the tribal government. Whereas Comanche Nation Constitution, Article 9, be amended to read, Article 10, qualifications of officers. Section 1, no person may seek tribal offices unless he will be at least 21 years of age. You know what? That should be amended, not he. You know, we got he and she, right?
Yeah.
And this is a 1967. I know I'm doing a lot of reading, but I think we need to amend that part. No person may seek tribal office unless they. If somebody could pose the motion to that amend to this resolution, it should be they. You know.
I make the motion.
Okay, and that motion says what?
To amend the he to they.
Okay.
I'll
Need a
second
second.
that. I'll
All
second
right.
that.
All those in favor to make this change, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, let me read
I
this
have a
again.
question. Didn't we, in the general council, vote to have this term for 3 years?
Let me continue reading this. Okay. Here we go. With the amended part. Qualification of officers. Section 1. No person may seek tribal office unless they will be at least 21 years of age at the time of this election and is a member of the Comanche Nation. Section 2. Anyone who has been convicted of any felony, a misdemeanor involving dishonesty, bribery, embezzlement, or has been determined by a court of competent jurisdiction to have committed any improper appropriation or obligation of tribal assets, any improper addition or removal from tribal rolls, any indebtedness to the nation, or fails a drug test shall not be eligible to hold office. Section 3. Any person recalled from office as a result of action by the Comanche Tribal Council in accordance with Section 2 of Article 8 of this Constitution shall forfeit the right to seek election to any position on the Comanche Business Committee for a period of 3 years beyond the expiration of the term of office in which the recalled person was serving at the time of recall. Section 4, any person running for chairperson, vice chairperson, or secretary-treasurer of the Comanche Business Committee shall possess a bachelor's degree from an accredited university. Therefore, be it resolved, the Business Committee today and Legal Quorum Assembly will call upon a secretarial election to add the amendments to the Constitution. This question will go to the majority vote of the Comanche Nation Tribal Council for a yes or no vote. That is, goodness gracious, what is our number?
That is 16-19.
16-19.
Chairman Nelson?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to make sure that you didn't, I think you said article, I'm not sure, I think you made a mistake on the article, I think.
Article 9?
Yeah, you said Article 10.
You said Article 10 and it's 9.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did, okay.
Can we make a correction on that?
Just for the record, Article 9?
Instead of 10? Yeah. Just to make sure.
All right. All right. Resolution that was passed, there was a judge in their own court. 1619 is before us. I do need somebody to pose a motion to approve 1619.
I'll make that motion.
Does that mean you're going to rescind the resolution on the moratorium for petition? Because as it is, we're not allowed to petition at this moment.
Sure, you can petition anytime you want.
No, we have not been able to. We still have a moratorium in place to petition. I believe Ms. Cothran brought that up a few months ago.
You're right.
There's no moratorium. There was a moratorium when we had a secretarial election.
I believe Ms. Cothran brought it up 2 months ago.
Susan, there's...
Yeah, well, I brought it up and we would address it at another time, or I don't even remember. You probably remember.
Well, you brought it up to vote on allowing petitions to take place again.
Yes.
Because there's a moratorium in place.
Yes, I did.
All right, well, we'll move forward on that after we do this, okay? Resolution 1619 is before us. Yes.
It was raised by Mr. Odyssey, and I think he was raising it relative to the tribal administrator, whether it was a 3-year term.
No, it didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, I didn't think so either, but he raised that question.
No.
I do not believe so. Who brought this forward? Alice Casnovoy.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's 3 years on there.
It didn't pass?
Yeah, it passed to have the education
I
requirement.
know about the 3 years.
It wasn't included on there. Was it?
No, I didn't add that on. I mean, if you want to make that, you can amend it if you want to. I mean,
Well, who's, I'm gonna have to pull my personal computer out. Was it for 3 years?
Yeah,
it was?
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's what I
missed
thought.
it.
For the
Man, that
record, it hasn't passed yet, so. The qualification that was passed at our annual meeting, a referendum vote, and through our court system. On section 4, somebody needs to, I guess I could do it. It needs to be amended to read on the last sentence, any person running for chairperson, vice chairperson, or secretary treasurer. That's not the part, is it?
No,
Where's TA?
no. It's the section, it's Article 8, Section 8.
Yeah.
First page.
Okay.
So that needs to be amended to say for a term of 3 years?
You know what? And that could be added at the very end.
Yeah.
For 52 years, Section 8 had always said to hire an administrator manager to administrate the tribal government. And then it does say the administrator manager shall be under the direction of the business committee. Members of the business committee should not be employees of the tribal government.
Term for tribal administrators shall be 3 years?
Yep.
Sir, if I may?
Sure.
I don't believe that was on the ballot when we voted on that for a term of 3 years.
Yeah, it was.
Let's see. Let's see here.
But it was talked about. I mean, yeah, we had it on there now, just like we did.
Yeah, you can add it on.
I make a motion to add that on, term for tribal administrator for 3 years.
I second.
Let me make one call before we go to a vote on that, okay, guys? I usually have that laptop up here, but I don't.
You have it on record anywhere?
I had it on record. I
Where's
just
your
didn't.
computer?
I left it out home.
Well, regardless, there's a motion.
Yeah, we've already made a motion, I mean,
I need some direction here. When that passed on the TA to have the education requirement, was there also the term for TA will be for 3 years on the same one?
Well, it don't make any difference if it was or wasn't. We still can put it on there.
There's a motion to put it on.
motion in a second.
Okay, thank you. You guys will take you back. When it came to qualification of that, you guys did not want to put that on there. So what y'all did put on there was just the education requirement. You know, that's what the people voted on, was just the education requirement.
Well, we still can add this to it.
Yeah, we can still
We
add
might
it.
get in a jackpot on that.
We still can put it on there. We've got a motion and a second.
All right.
Just add it to it. The people still gonna have to decide
They're still
anyway.
gonna have to decide, all right.
Order, sir, but you have to go with what the general council voted on and what was on the ballot.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we did.
No, but are you adding the
All we're
year
doing,
term?
all we're doing is adding something else to it.
But you're adding it after the fact. After the fact.
No, it's not. We put in there what the people voted on.
We done had an election on the ballot.
You're going
Was
to.
it-
You're going to.
What was voted on at general council is not what you voted on on the election. The election did not call for a term.
I know, we're adding it to it now. That's what I'm talking
But
about.
you're asking to go against what the people voted for.
No, we're
on the
not,
ballot.
we're not going against what the people voted for, it's in there,
Fine.
it's in there.
Well, if you don't want it, you don't vote for it.
Well,
Is it-
you're talking about the World Wide Web out there that you talked about. They voted with no requirement for a secretarial election to take place.
It does come to another, it really should come to another resolution to be put on
Exactly.
there as such, you know?
That should go before the general council again.
Just leave it, well, it's
Yeah.
written, then just
Okay.
rescind his, whatever it was. he-
All right, I will not recognize
The
that motion, all right? All right,
Oh, I made it,
okay,
He
second.
all right.
Yeah, you're right.
Business Committee. 1619 is before us, I do need a motion.
I made the motion.
Motion made, need a second.
I
By
second it.
Mr. Clyde and Susan. All those in favor for Resolution 1619, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. All right. Next one. Is that it?
No, I have the motion.
Ah. Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, you should do this on both.
On both, what do you mean?
Well, let me do one. You know, it was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. You know, I wasn't here. Robert wasn't here. Red Oak wasn't here. Odyssey wasn't here. But one thing for sure, when when I came on as chairman, I asked Gaiman, how much can you make? Do we always have to see $48 million, $50 million, $52 million? I think that was the best I ever made. So I challenged him, can you make 66 million? They made 71. Really? Well, I'll be darned. And I'm talking to the entire nation. Ain't nobody's demise. He just asked for a challenge and they accepted it. They did it. Next year, another banner year. This year, we're kind of down because of the encroachment of Terrell. But let's go further. When I was here, I had to deobligate some LLCs that they were getting all the money. And our tribe got nada. Not a dime. Then when you add it up, the money we should have got, we got $200,000 for 2 years. Wow, really? When right now it's making $2 million? Huh, what a joke. And I'll be realistic and real. Really real. People can say what they want. They can call this group here a bunch of crooks, but I know better. Why do I know better? We got a $24 million excess of money. Money found, money earned. $24 million. Comes from various income sources over these last 3 years. We can sit there and chop off our arms and pat our own selves on the back. Nobody was denied a service up here. Nobody. People got bigger per caps. How did it happen? Am I to sit there and go, it was them? No, we're Comanches. What does our Constitution say? Our Constitution says we're here for the common well-being of all Comanche people. With that said, we are going to disperse a revenue share excess disbursement to all members. At this point in time, there's 17,050 living Comanche souls. That's the motion. 24 million to go to our entire population, labeled as revenue share excess disbursement. That is my motion that I pose to this table.
You can't make a motion, I'll make it.
Okay, make the motion.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
All right, motion made, seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Can you say that again?
The name of it?
Revenue share excess disbursement. Check with the IRS, good to go. Everything's taxable, it is taxable.
And every Comanche will get it.
Every Comanche will get it. Golly. We're given a 30-day kind of notice on this, but we got to put it all together. The thing is, people say, well, what about that money? Well, what about this money? Well, here it is. And should it go to programs? No. We got excess of money, and we're funding. There's nobody broke. Nobody's broke. There's a man over there who makes revenue, works for us. A lot of people make revenue that work for us. More revenue is being made. The thing is, we still have excess. And the thing is this, if you do good work, you don't give it away, you don't drive Cadillacs around and take trips and give favors to everybody, this will happen. And why am I saying it? It's just the truth. It passed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, CBC.
Well, did you get the vote?
I don't know. Did we get the vote? Yeah, we got the vote. We got the vote, didn't we? It passed.
And we're going to start in alphabetical order.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
We need to vote on that Zinke thing.
Which one?
To keep him going with Zinke.
The lawyer.
Well, I'm going to recuse myself on this one.
You don't vote anyway.
I got to recuse myself on this one.
Why?
I just got to, because I got to go to Nottaway. I'm sorry.
Okay,
So it'll be
Susan.
my last chance to make a motion. We need to have a vote on continuing with the Zinke case.
I have the wording. You want the wording?
Please do that, if you don't mind.
I'll let you read it.
Okay.
We already passed it, but we're gonna just
Yeah.
certify it or
I'm glad you wrote it
something.
down.
Right down here.
Well, somebody needs to make that motion since I'm chairing. I can't.
That's right, you're chairing now.
Yes, he
Okay,
walked
excuse me, she's chairing at the moment since the absence of the chair, so I'll make the motion. The motion is to authorize the continuance of the Comanche Nation versus Secretary of Interior Zinke case to whom? SCOTUS. Yeah, to SCOTUS and beyond under a previous approved claims contract. That's the motion.
I second it.
Motion has been made by Mr. Tippecanoe to accept the
To authorize.
authorized amendment to continue moving on with the Zinke case. Seconded by Mr. Narcomi. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I believe that's it, isn't it?
That's it.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Hey, I got a couple of issues that need to be addressed that haven't been addressed. If I may, there's one, I'd like to make a motion. You know, we got, well, not to put this guy on the spot over here, but dang, what's it called? Behind the Water Park. Nations of Fun. Okay, they've been operating with a very old pizza machine, and if they had a new pizza machine, they could satisfy more people. And people leave if they have to wait 45 minutes on their pizza. And it just spreads with word of mouth that that's not the place to go. People still go there, but I think it would be better if we had a new pizza machine that spit out pizzas, you know, every 10 minutes instead of every 25 minutes. But I just want to bring that up in front of the CBC and see if we can vote to give them a new pizza machine.
I think we're missing the chain of command here. Should you not go and talk to the TA about that? He's your direct supervisor.
No, not yet. But you know, we did. We every time we put something in, it's
They have
always,
budget.
how would you say, it, by the time we get it, then we gotta do it again, keep on going and going and going. About our pizza machine, a pizza machine makes a pizza every 7 minutes. And when we get parties, you gotta have them, you know, we gotta kind of slow
Well,
stuff
Nico,
down.
I suggest you talk to the tribal administrator because that's your immediate boss. I'm sure he'll work with you on that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I done talked to Jimmy about it before, and I'll come see him Monday about it again, and we'll get it going.
Nico, we got 3 years lease left over there.
Yeah.
3 years. And it reverts back to KCA. I don't know what we're gonna do, go to higher ground, or we should go to higher ground.
We should give it back.
I don't know.
Was that it, Tony?
But, hold on,
Johnny?
Johnny.
Go ahead,
Oh,
go ahead.
Remember I was talking to you about the possibility, what we might be able to move? Because we need to keep the water park. We've been a staple. We don't need it there. You know, because it's in a flood zone. So I would hope you work with the TA, maybe how those are our assets. Every fixture you got there is our asset. It's not KCA's. Okay? We paid off their debt 25 years ago. That's why we're over there. So 23 years ago. But our lease is over, 3 more years.
Well, we only been here since 2000. And do we have a 25-year lease?
Nope. It's on record, how it was
Yeah, they have it
signed.
on record.
Really?
How it was signed. We got 3 years left. So we need to start thinking about asset savings, tangibles. You know, I know you got the, golly, we got Oklahoma's largest indoor, what do you call that?
Bounce house.
Yeah, the indoor where the kids run. What's that thing called? That's the largest in Oklahoma.
Jeez.
Okay, sorry, Ben.
Oh, and the other issue is there was 2 grasshoppers let go, and now we're stuck with machines that need repairs, and I think we had talked about it before in a meeting that they were supposed to be kept on to maintenance the machines during the winter, make sure everything's running right for the spring whenever they start back up the Grasshopper program. And you know, there's going to be more elders, more and more and more, that's going to need their grass cut because they're, you know, the baby boomers are all becoming elders, or already are elders, and there's more baby boomers to come. But I would just like to see, you know, speak for them 2 employees that got let go. If there's any way we could bring them back as a CBC.
Make that motion.
That's my motion, to bring back the 2 grasshoppers. Because we had already talked about not firing them, period. Keeping just those 2 on the maintenance.
I don't remember that. When did we talk about it? I mean, really, I don't remember.
It's been 5 years that they've stayed on through the winter, so, yeah. You do gotta keep things up. Motion been made. Need a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Red Oak. All those in favor to bring back these employees to keep the machines going and assist our elders as needed during these cold months, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, sound like 4.
I abstain, I'm not.
1 abstain?
Yes.
Mr. Tippecanoe.
And it's not
Abstain.
because I don't want them back, it's because I think that should have been handled through your tribal
Yeah,
administrator.
I think the TA should have been.
Yes,
We're not supposed to hire and fire, remember we talked
Exactly.
about
Yeah.
that.
exactly.
We're not
Individually.
supposed to multitask
But
and
we
whatever
can give
we
the
call it.
tribal
We're
administrator
not supposed to do
directive
that.
as the CBC.
Well, I think the TA needed to visit on the need
Yeah,
and
we don't know why.
how you keep them employed.
I'm gonna sit here and talk about it on this.
That's why I abstained.
All right.
But anyway, I just wanted to bring those 2 issues up.
Well, we got 4 people that voted yes. We got 2
I didn't vote.
abstentions. We got 1 no vote. Clyde voted yes. Red Oak, yes?
Got big,
Yes.
bad.
For the record, how did that come out?
Well,
All right.
we're not supposed to get into hire and firing.
I know we're not into hiring and firing. It's just, do we just let it go?
Well, shouldn't we ask him? I mean, we should have asked him when we were in executive session.
We're not supposed to
Didn't
talk
even
about
come out.
personnel in public.
No, that's not right.
Mr. Red, did you, I only have 5 votes.
We got Clyde, me, Red Oak, Poway.
You don't vote unless there's a tie.
Susan
There is.
abstained.
There's abstain, and a no.
2 abstained, 1 no, and I have 2 yes.
Oh, yeah, I don't vote, then it's 3
No, you
to
don't.
3. Wait a minute, it's 3 to 3, so yeah, I do vote. I say, can we at least bring them back? I mean, why were they let go?
That's a director's, you know, no, you have to, well, I'm going to discuss that in open session. That was a director's decision.
And you supported that decision? Okay.
Was it money? Didn't have enough money, or what?
No work. There's no cutting grass now.
Well, why did we set a precedent of keeping them on for 4 years in a
We
row?
didn't.
Then
That's
the
not
5th year we
true.
go?
That's not true. They were made full-time last year. So they went through 1 season full-time. It's always been seasonal. And the director, the new director, took it back to seasonal because of lack of work. So that was the director's decision. You know, she came before you guys on adopting those policies, so.
I didn't see in there, it said grasshopper program out. I didn't see that.
Mowing is seasonal. Grasshopper is a seasonal program.
What did it do last winter?
Good question.
I don't know.
Without saying very much, it's like, you know, that was a director's decision, but I certainly, you know, agree with her decision. You know, about, you know, keeping it as a seasonal position.
Yes.
Please forgive me.
Yes.
But did we vote on the pizza machine?
No,
No.
we did not.
So
We
we're
told
just
him
gonna
to
let
talk to
that-
the
He's gonna take care of it.
Oh, you need a pizza machine?
Just
Let's
making
vote on
sure.
the pizza machine. Come on, that's business. Let's vote.
Can I get two then?
Are you not keeping up with your parties over there?
We are, but we gotta kind of have them slow it down, you know. As far as pizza, don't order so much, then we can get them out slow. You know what I mean? That pizza machine been there since we had that place.
And it only makes one pizza at a time.
Yeah, it runs, I
You
mean,
need to
could-
make,
you could
get a
run me
pizza that
multiple
makes 2 or
times.
3 at a time.
Make
You could
that
run one
motion, Eddie.
in, you know, you could run.
No, I
one
mean,
right
he's gonna
behind
work
each
it out
other.
with Jimmy.
Y'all step in.
You know, you can run one right behind each other, but it still takes you 7 minutes to cook
Can
one.
somebody make a
I
motion
make a
to
motion
adjourn?
to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Need a second.
I second.
Second. All those in favor to adjourn this meeting, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Comanche Nation.